85 at ground level, pretty useless at ground level, not that effective. 345 in a vacuum. So that's why you need those upgrades, basically. This will be far better in space. But let's get the survivability up. There we go. That gets us service bays, a basic parachute that we need, batteries, solar cells, a lot of important things. Here's the thing I'm noticing. Where is our basic pod? We haven't gotten one of those yet. We don't have a space-worthy pod. I'm trying to quickly scan through to see where it would be. Enhanced survivability. Safety lights, I love it. Bigger parachute, there we go. Mark 1 command pod. Thank you for that follow. Drogue chutes, here are some of the parachutes that we need. But this is the basic pod that we can use to get to space. Excellent. So 45 science. This basic science gets us a camera, which is pretty cool. Some basic scanning. Oh, excellent. Photovoltaic panels already. Science Junior, that's going to be useful. Relay antenna. That's going to be relevant once we start putting satellites in orbit. I'll talk more about it then. And here, there we go. This is the Surface Experiment Pack. Gets you basic experiments that you can construct on the surface while you're there. This is so cool. I really like that mod. So far... This is weird. Cannot afford the technology cost. This is the same, but it says we can. That's weird. But all of this is 45, apparently. Let's see what we can do. Nothing you talk about in stream. Let's just pay in the moment and leave that. Sure thing, Joe. Sure thing. I hope things will pick up for you then. Launch a new rover to the Mun, including all scientific instrumentation you can. We cannot go to the Mun just yet. That is a little bit too far. But, as I mentioned, I had been eyeing up this baby. Take pressure readings in flight below 18,400. Now rover deployment is to the Mun. We can do that. Test a stack separator. Stack decoupler. Oh, there we go. Test a booster in flight. But at a very high altitude. Our plane will not be able to get there. We might be able to do a stack decoupler on launch. And there we go. Test a Juno basic jet engine. That we can do. And that fills up our quests. Our contracts. Let's start building a plane. Won't be a space plane. We'll not be able to reach space, but there we go. We can always get started. Okay, so here's the thing about the engines we can have for this. We have the Juno basic engine that has a stationary thrust of 20 kilonewtons. Now have a look at this. It needs intake of air and it only uses liquid fuel. Drains evenly, respecting crossfeed per priority. That has to do with where the fuel comes from, etc. But let's see. This has to do... I'll deal with this when we make Mun landers, but that has to do with Kerbalism. It's a pretty cool mod. What we are going to do is maybe see if we can just build a basic rocket. And let's make this baby the... Okay, this one's a little bit more efficient in space, but we're not going to reach space. So we're going to make this one, the basic high-fire rocket. Now I want this to look a little bit cooler, so I'm going to do a little bit of clipping. Because here's the thing about Kerbal Space Program. This thing, right now, as it looks, this is a valid part. Some people call this cheating. Some people do this for aesthetics. I don't know. My mind's made up. Obviously, scaling it in there, you know, breaks sort of the reality of it. But you know what? I'm okay with that. I don't mind. There we go. Now you can see that I'm using different fuel here. This is combines liquid fuel and oxidizer. These ones just have liquid fuel. That is why I'm mixing those up differently. And they need air intake. So that's why we have a circular air intake. This is going to provide 0.5 air intake. The base speed of 50 meters per second before it really starts working. And these engines take... oh, stick around. Take 1.4 per second. So let's see, 1.4 per second. So it's 2.8 air intake that we need. And this will only give us 1. So we're gonna have to see if we can add some. Don't think we actually have any of those yet. So this is just going to be a little bit less effective as a plane. Let's see, let's make this look like a jet fighter. Let's see what we can do. There we go. We can start out with some of these. These are the procedural wings. Now we're going to move these back like that. You can basically add these together because every part, as you can see, has a relative wing area. So this is 0.5. Do we have any overview of that? I don't think we actually do. How much lift it creates. If you're spotting it, then please let me know, because I'm not seeing it right now. But, there we go. These basically create lift. That is the blue line over here. And the more you have, the easier it flies, obviously. Let's see. Let's see if we can... I don't want to get too far into swept wings. Though maybe that's a better design to start with. Just grand swept wings like this. Let's do that. See where it ends us up. Now, as you can see, the center of lift is in front of the center of mass. That is a bad thing. You always want to avoid that. Reason being is if you put that up, then your plane is going to flip up as it tries to take off, because the faster you go, the lift will reach this point and try to lift the nose cone, which will flip it around and make it weird. In this case, when you have the center of lift behind the center of mass, the plane will naturally try to dip downwards, and you can keep it up using your control surfaces. Now let's see if I can adjust something here a little bit. I want to give this a... there we go, a forward pointing design. Let's see how we can move this around. There we go. How far can I move this while still neatly clipping into... okay, sure, that clips into it. I think this might give us a good amount of lift already. Now we'll also need a tail fin at the back. Here's an interesting thing if you want to build something like this. A single tail fin will not affect your lift. But if you move it to the side, you can see that it starts affecting the lift, because then it also becomes a lift surface. Now let's just make a basic one. We will add one, put it down here, and we will need to have control surfaces. Let's see, I think this is the thicker one. Wait, don't we have like There we go, a curved elevon. Wow, that is buggy. Does not like being put on this type of wing. Okay, you know what? Let's just use normal ones. Oh, no, the normal ones don't like it either. Okay, you know what we're gonna do? We're going to try and gently place one. There we go. And we will rotate it to where we need it to be. Okay, this needs to have a little bit more rotation. Let's see if we can change the... There we go. The offset, that's the F key, by the way. You can change what it takes as its center point. So, for example, if you do F absolute, that is, as you can see, the X, Y, and Z is based on the absolute plane. If you press it again, it's the offset for the local. It's attached to this part, so the X, Y, and Z plane is defined from the parent part. Those buttons really change things for me when I finally figured out how to use those adequately. There we go. About like that. Let's move those. That looks a little weird. There we go. Could kind of probably move it in there. Thank you for that follow. It's called Z fighting. When two polygons occupy the same mathematical space and the renderer doesn't know which to show to the camera. Oh, really now? Thank you too. Z fighting. Same mathematical space. Oh, so that's why it's basically not sure whether to show the wing or the elevon, so it's freaking out the elevon like, you're supposed to be here, but you can't be here, but you're here, but you're not here. And then it basically ruins your day. Okay, I think this works fairly well. Let's test an important thing. Always when you're making a plane, test where the center of weight is going to be when all the fuel's gone. Because that shows you if, for instance, you have your center of lift right behind this baby, and then the fuel's gone, and that shifts the center of mass behind where you are, then you're in trouble. So right now, let's move the wings forward a little bit. There we go. So now it's going to be right behind the center of mass, which is just fine. Once, you know, the fuel's gone, because I think the fuel is fairly balanced. See, if it's full, it's right behind it. If it's empty, it's going to be right behind it. This is going to work relatively well, I hope. Hey there, Fub. Nice to have you back in. How are you doing? Okay. So we are ready to start putting some wheels on this baby. I'm a big fan of these wheels. The other wheels are okay for traditional old-fashioned airplanes, set wheels, but these fold away and have their own lights, which are really useful. They fold away so you don't have that much problems with them when it comes to aerodynamics, and they have their lights, which is useful for landing in the dark. Now let's move these. These ones you want fairly close behind your center of mass, because then it'll tip easily and it'll lift off quite well. Of course, we wouldn't want them at this direction. Now that I don't like. They are so close together, that's not going to be very stable. Let's put these under those engines. There we go. Puts them a little bit behind that, but as you can see, these are now higher than the center one, which means it's already angled up. That's going to work in our favor. Good to be back. Yeah, I'm happy we've got this zone again for all of us. By the way, in the meantime, think of a name for this thing. What should we call our new jet fighter? Ah, it's not a fighter. Our new jet. Let's see. I'm gonna go through all the parts just to see whether forgetting something. Inline reaction wheel might be good. I haven't actually used these yet. I'm very bad at using these. Some people make beautiful things with them. Test a Juno basic jet engine. We can do that. We have Junos. Pressure readings. We need science, of course. I said we needed more air, but we don't have more air intakes. That's a bit of a problem. Electrical. Yeah, let's... there we go. Let's just put 2 panels at the back. And maybe just a battery in the center. We don't need any communications because this is going to be a manned flight. We can absolutely use this though. Let's start building the science on this baby. I didn't use a Geiger counter yet. I built a rover and I didn't use the Geiger counter. Although I think you can't use it until you're in space anyway. Okay, let's put all that on the booty of the plane. Magnetometer, if we can actually manage. Let's make that one smaller though. It's gonna be more expensive, but it's okay. We'll be returning this anyway. Let's maybe clip it in for aesthetics a little bit. There we go. That looks cooler, and it can still do its thing. Perfect. I think we're just about done. We have our lights. Oh right, I clipped. Here's a downside. I clipped the wings through the door. Thank you for the follow. Where is it? There it is. Clip the wings through that door, so Kerbals may not be able to actually get in and out. Let's still though see if we can add something for them. The John Denver, the Bumblebee, the Hindentanic. Oh, that's the faith you have in me. Okay, that is not relevant. No, thank you. Let's move that down. Move it. Whoa, 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 whoa. That was a little bit awkward. There we go. There we go. That should reach the ground, I think. Perfect. Retract that ladder. Which also blocks the entrance. I'm so good at this. I don't need any AVA items. I think we're done. Now, remember, I said we have Kerbals die. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. Kerbals die. No, Kerbals die when and they don't respawn, unlike the other games. So we're going to need a little bit of safety here. Because if we mess up, it's going to be Kerbals' life. Can we make this smaller? We can make this smaller. Perfect. Twickables. And put a utility on there, and we're going to put 2 parachutes. Now, check your staging. Every time before you fly, check your staging. So. Thank you for that follow. Farscape 1. Remember the parachute? Hey, thank you, Fashion Labeled, for that help. Good thing, because as you will have noticed by the time you were watching, I nearly did forget it. Okay, let's offset this part a little bit. Want it to look integrated. There we go. As though it's just part of the actual plane. Now let's check the, there we go, the cockpit. Has reaction wheels, the scale is normal. It does have its own antenna, interesting. We can adjust the torque, we don't need to right now. Let's toggle the flag off. Lights are on, that's fine. It has scrubbing and pressure control. That is something that Kerbalism adds. As you can see, scrubber removes waste atmosphere and carbon dioxide, I think, or adds carbon dioxide. And the pressure control just basically uses nitrogen to make it into a pressured pod. It's a lot of cool stuff in there. Habitat, yep. We can add inventory. We don't need any radiation shielding. It has stores. There we go. See, electric charge. As long as we're in sunlight, we have infinite electric charge. Oh god. I hate it when that happens. Let's check the center of lift. That is okay. We have enough water for 4 days, enough oxygen for 5 days, nitrogen for a year. We are good. Kind of transmits signs, that's fine. Unused food and oxygen. How rude. I think we're good. Who is flying this? Jebediah, okay. We should call it Princess Leia? Name it Slave 1? The Princess Leia. You know what? Fine. The Princess Leia. In that case, I believe our first pilot should be Valentina Kerman, the only female astronaut we have right now. Okay, I think we're done. I think we're done. If we're not, Valentina might die. Remember, I can't revert to launch. Wait, what? Too many parts! You're kidding me. How many parts do we have? 36. Okay, we don't need the solar panels. We can lose those. What else can we lose? What else can we lose? We can lose this. We're not going out. 33. We still need to filter out parts. This is... I really want this. I really want parachutes. Okay, here's what I can do with this. Remove it and just have one. It gets us to 31, which means I just need to remove one more thing. I believe the Geiger counter can only work in space. Do we need the battery? We don't even need the battery. Let's remove that. That gets us 30. Perfect. Princess Leia. Staging is okay. We have an emergency escape. Let's give it a go. Please don't die. Break. Crew report. Thank you for that follow. Reporting into the runway. Good thing there's not a lot of air traffic because I don't think we ever got clearance from the tower to be here. So naughty. I'm not going to do an EVA because I don't know whether she'd be able... No, she'd not be able to return this. There's nothing to hold on, so she'd fall down and not be able to return, so we're not going to do that. Leave the signs here now. Let's get the vessel stats up as well. We need to test the basic engine. There we go. That is tested, and now we just need to fly to here. Activate the navigation. Now it's not the Princess Leia anymore? Ah, because of the buns. See, I was wondering why on earth you called it the Princess Leia. Now it's the Brother Catfall. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Oh god, I didn't adjust the... Oh, no! I didn't adjust the sensitivity of the controls. Okay, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're doing okay. We're doing okay. Doing okay. Let's get a crew report. Shows look inviting. Radiation scan. Vibration from your rocket while flying in Kerbin makes dials unreadable, so you decide to make up the results. That's how science is done. We already had that one. Atmospheric drag causes a measurable increase in temperature. Okay. Where do we need to go? There. So let's adjust the camera using V to chase. Let's see if we can adjust these limiters to about 50. I want this only to be used in yaw. I want these to be used in pitch and roll, and these only to be used in pitch. Okay, let's see how this baby does. Let's caps lock it for gentler controls. Okay, this doesn't fly too badly. It's slow, it's hardly a jet fighter, but it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. Let's get a cockpit view here. Angle of attack on that one. This, by the way, is also a mod. This is a raster prop monitor, which gives you a bunch of new options that you can use to literally select things. It's really cool. You could do an actual cockpit mission like this. Navigation? There we go. You could do an actual full-on in-cockpit mission. Even a full-on Mun landing, because it gives you actually all the info that you need. Now, here you can see we are getting a grey thing on navigation because we have not researched anything. We have not scanned anything, so we have zero info. No, we need to be going in this direction, which, oddly enough, we don't seem to be doing. Oh wait, we're probably still adjusting our flight path to there. Crew report. Hey, you can see my house. So as you can see, it is going to take us 4 minutes to reach Megan's Fault, because it's 35 kilometers away. That is taking a while. I was hoping to actually save this rocket we have to maybe see how far we could boost up into the air. I mean, we're still basically climbing. Yeah, exactly. I do have this giant afterburner. Maybe, though, we limit this thrust to about 30. Because we don't want to get too far. There we go. That gets us a little bit more speed. Gently increasing, but not too much, because this is not a supersonic vessel. Yeah, it's a massive afterburner like this. Thank you for that follow. Okay, yeah, there we go. We're already very quickly suffering supersonic aerodynamic effects, which are basically